Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
From ABC 7, this is Eyewitness News.
High tides and flooded streets. We're live in Seal Beach, where water is being pushed toward people's doorsteps.
And a cloud of controversy is looming over Dodgers Pride Night after one group was disinvited. Good morning to you. The time is 4:30. I'm Rachel Brown here with John Gregory.
And Leslie Sykes is off this morning. Leslie Lopez watching the weather. And Leslie, we were talking about that view of downtown behind us. Clear this morning.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, we have some really nice conditions setting up here in Southern California. So what's changing on us today? We have probably less marine layer clouds to contend with this afternoon, so that's some good news. Downtown Los Angeles, you're going to get up to about 72 degrees. Inland Orange County, those temperatures will stay right around 70. And then if you are going to be making your way out into areas of the Inland Empire and the Valley spots, yeah, those temps probably just about 83 degrees. So we have some great weather happening. Beaches about 64 degrees, but more sunshine even at the coastline today. So that'll be nice to see. The mountains, 69 degrees, and then the high deserts, good morning, and 93 on the way for the high desert communities. We'll talk about opportunities of thunderstorms. There's a little bit of fog developing here this morning. And then where is that weekend? I know it's Thursday, not quite Friday, but it's, you know, oh, Mark Hoda-Robles is here. That's very important, too. But, you know, it's in, and Scott Reif. It is going to be a nice weekend. Not quite Friday. Squirrel. All right, Scott, over to you.
I'm confused. Personally, I'm not sure what
that's the brain. That's what's happening.
Well, yeah, you're right about the fog, though. You know, it's kind of hard to figure it out, whether it's going to form or not form here at Van Nuys Airport. So maybe that's what's clouding our minds, right? Our minds are fogged. Hey, your drive's going to be a good one. Don't worry too much about it. We got some road work on the 710. We'll show you on the map. It's down into Linwood. We do see a little bit of a delay, but they're going to wrap this up by 5, they tell us. It's the 710 freeway traveling southbound. If you make that drive up from Imperial Highway to the 105, the 2 right lanes are blocked. A little red on the map there, so it looks like they may be moving things around, but by 5 o'clock, another half hour or so, it should be reopened. Caltrans Monitor, live shot of the 10 at Tippecanoe in San Bernardino. Looks good. It's up to speed. No big accidents reported in all of that area of the Inland Empire. Rachel? John?
Okay, Scott, thank you. Well, right now, powerful surf is causing dangerous flooding along parts of our coastline.
Yeah, Eyewitness News reporter Tony Cabrera live in Seal Beach with the latest on that. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, John and Rachel. Yeah, you combine high surf with high tide, and as we've seen in the past, there can be some flooding on these beach communities. And take a look right now. You can see the parking lot here in Seal Beach, just south of the pier. Still covered in that water. There's that trash bin over there, you know, maybe a foot up to 2 feet, possibly in some spots. And then to the left here, you can see those homes right along the pathway there. The pathway is just soaked in this water and some of that sea foam on top of it. Now, last night, though, it came in covering these parking lots and reaching into some nearby streets, coming right up to homes. Crews worked throughout the night using pumps and sandbags to keep the water away. But there was just too much of it. You might remember a similar situation back in January when water breached the sand berms in the Surfside community, which is about 3 miles south of the pier here. Back then, whole streets were flooded and sandbags weren't enough to stop the water from going into garages with up to 2 feet of flooding in some spots. We'll likely have another round of it tonight, though. A beach hazard statement is in effect for all beaches. That's when high tide happens. So sunset happens just before 8 o'clock tonight. So that's something to keep in mind if you're along the beaches. Of course, we're having pretty pleasant weather these days, so a lot of people are heading out to the beaches. One thing of concern throughout the whole day will be the dangerous rip currents that are out there. So advice would be to stay out of the water because they can be very dangerous for swimmers. Reporting live in Seal Beach, Tony Cabrera, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Tony, good advice. Thank you. A community in Riverside is calling on the city to address a so-called death trap intersection. This after a horrific crash left an 8-year-old boy dead and his siblings hospitalized in critical condition. The crash happened Monday at the intersection of Arlington Avenue and Stover. It's a stretch of road that many neighbors say is too dangerous because of speeding. A traffic signal has been approved for the intersection, but construction has been delayed. The city estimates it will be finished and operational by October.
I want the city to come out here and sit at the corners and watch these people come by.
This is not the first accident we've seen. We've lived in 2 different areas and it's just nonstop.
I call it a death trap. There's no, I mean, even once we get just a little bit, our nose out to the little bit of the street, you have literally seconds to gun it into the middle lane, or else you can have a very high chance of getting T-boned.
Meanwhile, there is a town hall scheduled to address speeding in the area. It is set for May 30th.
A heartbroken family is asking for help to find the person who shot and killed a father of 3 in Hawaiian Gardens. A $30,000 reward is being offered. Last October, Carlos Alvarez Diaz was driving near Norwalk Boulevard and 226th Street with his 14-year-old brother-in-law when their car was shot at. The teen was also shot but survived. Their family says they still have no idea why they were targeted.
Well, parents from the Covenant School in Nashville say they do not want the shooter's so-called manifesto released to the public. There's now a court order set for Monday. 6 people, including 3 kids, were killed in the shooting. This was back in March. Police say the shooter identified as transgender and previously attended the Christian school. Several lawsuits have been filed calling for the release of the written materials and other documents related to the shooting.
So one person who truly understands the scale of the gun crisis across America is former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher has more on how she's turning tragedy into purpose.
We've actually